Everything you think you know about trading confidence is completely backward. You click buy with your stomach churning and heart pounding, mistaking that adrenaline surge for confidence. That electric rush, that feeling of, this is the one. You've been programmed to believe this emotional high is what separates winners from losers. Here's the brutal flip that will reshape your entire approach. Real confidence feels utterly, profoundly boring, not exciting. Professional operators don't need adrenaline to execute. They need a quantifiable edge, strict limits, and mechanical precision that feels as routine as brushing teeth. When was the last time you felt absolutely certain about a trade? Probably right before it moved against you. And when did you hesitate most? Likely before your biggest winners. This isn't coincidence. It's the confidence paradox destroying accounts daily. Your emotions are systematically lying to you about what confidence actually means in probability-based decision-making. Let me trigger immediate identity tension with a stark binary that will determine your trading future. Winners operate like casinos. Small edge, infinite patience, strict rules that never bend regardless of recent outcomes. They don't get excited when someone hits a jackpot or panic during losing streaks. They know that over thousands of trials, their mathematical edge compounds into massive profits. Losers operate like gamblers. Big bets, emotional highs, flexible rules that change with feelings. They ride emotional roller coasters, euphoric after wins, devastated after losses, constantly switching strategies based on the last few trades. By the end of this series, you'll undergo a complete transformation. You'll trust your plan when every fiber screams to abandon it. You'll trade smaller position sizes, but compound faster through boring consistency. You'll stop sabotaging your most profitable setups with last-second emotional interference. Most importantly, you'll develop the mechanical confidence that builds wealth instead of the exciting confidence that destroys it. Ignore this transformation, and you'll pay a devastating double tax. Financially, you'll suffer death by 1,000 cuts, small losses that accumulate, plus occasional blow-ups that erase months of gains in minutes. Psychologically, you'll endure chronic anxiety, shame spirals after losses, and the endless cycle of account hopping, strategy switching, and guru chasing that keeps you perpetually frustrated and broke. I can prove this with composite data from coaching over 200 retail traders. Same breakout strategy, same market conditions, same setup criteria. Yet completely opposite outcomes based purely on execution consistency. The operators who learned to be bored with their process built substantial wealth. The gamblers who chased emotional highs built substantial debt. Strategy wasn't the separator. Behavior was the determining factor. The market is your toughest teacher grading you every single day. Your equity curve is your report card. Every emotional decision marks a wrong answer. Every disciplined execution scores correctly. What's your current grade showing? More importantly, we're going to install 3 tools that flip this script permanently. First, the mirror test, a 5-second question that predicts your next 20 trades with uncomfortable accuracy. Second, a 3-sentence morning ritual that rewires your neural pathways, locking your operator identity before the open so you stop outsourcing confidence to the last candle. Third, the sniper protocol, a systematic pre-shot checklist that kills FOMO forever by making patience profitable instead of painful. But here's the deeper question. Haunting most traders, what's the one myth about trading confidence that keeps 90% of retail traders repeating the same psychological mistakes year after year? It's not about needing better indicators or perfect timing. It's about a fundamental misunderstanding of what confidence actually means when your survival depends on managing uncertainty. Your transformation starts now. Will you keep chasing the adrenaline that makes bad trades feel right? Or learn to breathe through the boredom that makes good trades pay? Your brain wasn't designed for probability. It was engineered for tigers. In primitive environments, hesitation meant death, so your survival system developed hair trigger responses to perceived threats and opportunities. But markets operate on uncertainty, not life or death clarity. Your ancient wiring craves certainty in an inherently uncertain game, so you freeze on valid signals, chase when it feels safe, and oversize after winning streaks, because your nervous system mistakes recent outcomes for future guarantees. This fundamental mismatch systematically murders your confidence before it can develop. Let's demolish the 4 toxic myths keeping your survival brain in control and your account on life support. Myth 1. When I'm certain, I'll size up. Stop waiting for a feeling that will never arrive. Certainty is marketing fiction, not a trading condition. The market distributes outcomes across probabilities. No single trade carries certainty. When you size up only when feeling certain, you correlate your biggest bets with your strongest emotions, not your best signals. That's how accounts die. Professional operators size based on mathematical edge and predefined risk, not momentary conviction surges. Feelings do not forecast expectancy. Myth 2. More analysis equals more confidence. Analysis beyond your written criteria is fear wearing a lab coat. You think you're being diligent. You're actually avoiding the emotional risk of execution. Additional indicators past your system requirements just add noise that delays action. Analysis paralysis destroys execution speed and breeds hesitation. Confidence comes from clear rules and mechanical implementation when criteria align. Cut the extra time frames. Cut the extra tabs. Decide inputs in advance. Execute on outputs. Myth 3. If I had a better strategy, I'd be consistent. Here's the twist that destroys strategy hoppers. Strategy isn't salvation. Consistency is the edge. Any profitable method executed inconsistently becomes unprofitable. Skip 2 winners because they looked ugly. Add size on the perfect setup. Widen one stop out of hope. You've destroyed your expectancy. Same rules, same risk, every qualified signal. You don't need a new system. You need mechanical respect for the one you have. Myth 4. Doing nothing means missing out. Operator reality. Doing nothing is strategic action when criteria aren't present. The casino doesn't keep unfavorable tables open. The sniper passes 99 targets for 1 clean shot. Your job isn't activity, it's accuracy. Waiting preserves capital and attention for optimal moments. If you can't sit on your hands, you can't hold profits. Your survival brain operates on recency and pattern seeking. 3 wins trigger hot streak confidence, inviting oversize. 2 losses signal danger, breeding hesitation. Each overconfident deviation creates what I call confidence debt. Psychological and financial debt, the market eventually collects with interest. Oversize today, you will undersize the next valid setup. Skip a clean signal, you'll chase the next mediocre one. This debt compounds until you're trading scared and abandoning profitable systems after small samples. Here's your circuit breaker, the mirror test. Before every order, pause and ask aloud, am I trading my plan or my feelings? If the answer isn't instant and clear, you're trading emotions. Stand down or reduce size. If it's immediate, proceed exactly as written, no adjustments. Quick CPI parable. Trader anticipation analyzes scenarios all morning, loads maximum size before the release because he knows the direction needs to be right to survive. The number shocks, spreads widen, he gets slipped. Panic follows, revenge trading begins. Trader structure marks levels pre-market, waits 15 minutes for clean patterns after volatility. Risks 0.5% with predefined stops, takes small loss or clean continuation. One trades ego, the other trades protocol. You don't need louder emotions, you need quieter rules. Next chapter delivers mathematical proof that makes feelings irrelevant. expectancy calculations showing why 40% win rates can be wildly profitable, while 65% win rates bleed accounts dry. Ready to see numbers that expose exactly how expensive your emotions have been? Confidence becomes rational when you can prove your plan works over a series, not obsess over individual trades. Stop judging yourself by the last candle and start grading yourself by the next 100 executions. One trade is noise, 100 is evidence. To make this shift real, we stack proof 3 ways: story, math, and model, so your feelings stop arguing with facts. 2 traders receive identical breakout systems for 200 trades. Trader protocol risks exactly 0.5 R per trade, targets 2 R on every signal, takes every qualified setup, regardless of how it looks, and journals obsessively after each execution. No exceptions, no adjustments, pure mechanical implementation. Trader Gambler starts identically, but begins making improvements, skipping setups that look ugly, sizing up on sure things, widening stops when positions move against him, taking profits early when scared. Both think they're being smart. After variance runs its statistical course, Protocol's equity curve shows the jagged but unmistakable climb of positive expectancy, up 40% with predictable drawdowns and recoveries. Gambler's curve tells a different story. Volatile, essentially flat to negative with 3 account-threatening drawdowns that nearly triggered complete ruin. Same strategy, opposite outcomes. The difference wasn't market timing or superior analysis. It was mechanical adherence versus emotional interference. The market didn't punish his system. It punished his inconsistency. Now the math that makes feelings irrelevant. Expectancy is the only number that matters for long-term profitability. Win percentage multiplied by average win minus loss percentage multiplied by average loss. Protocol's 40% win rate targeting 2R yields positive expectancy. 40% times 2R equals 0.8R minus 60% times 1R equals 0.6R for a net positive 0.4R per trade. Over 200 trades, that's 80 R multiples of profit. Here's the cruel irony that destroys most traders. Gamblers improved 65% win rate, averaging 0.7 R yields negative expectancy after transaction costs. 65% times 0.7 R equals 0.455 R, minus 35% times 1.2 R from widened stops equals 0.42 R, for a net positive 0.035 R that becomes negative after spreads and commissions. Higher win rates often hide lower profitability because early exits and widened stops destroy the risk-reward ratios that create edge. Risk of ruin calculations reveal why position sizing determines survival more than win rates. When you cap risk per trade, respect stops religiously, and avoid correlated positions, your probability of complete account destruction collapses exponentially. A trader risking 2% per trade with proper diversification survives market conditions that completely destroy a trader risking 10% per trade with the same system. Survival is an edge. Longevity allows the law of large numbers to finally work for you. Think of markets as your toughest teacher, grading you daily on process adherence, not profit generation. Your equity curve becomes your report card. Every mechanical execution scores correctly, regardless of outcome. Every emotional deviation marks wrong, regardless of temporary profit. The teacher doesn't grade on individual answers. It grades on consistent methodology across the entire semester. At One Proprietary Trading Desk, they implemented the Sniper Pre-Shot Checklist, a systematic protocol requiring 4 confirmations before any entry. Through pure environment design and if-then rules, this simple checklist eliminated 73% of revenge trades in 6 weeks, not through willpower or motivation, but through systematic barriers that prevented emotional interference during high-stress moments. The evidence is overwhelming. Mechanical execution of mediocre strategies outperforms emotional execution of excellent strategies. But evidence means nothing without implementation. You need a mental model that converts these numbers into behavior you can trust when your emotions scream otherwise, when recent losses trigger doubt, when FOMO demands action, when overconfidence invites oversize. Next chapter installs that model, the three-gear confidence engine that transforms proof into performance, so confidence becomes habit instead of hope. Proof without a mechanism is trivia. You've seen the numbers, but numbers don't press the button for you. The bridge from data to disciplined action is a mental machine I call the confidence engine. Three interlocking gears that turn belief into behavior: evidence, execution, and evolution. When they mesh perfectly, confidence stops being a feeling you chase and becomes a byproduct of how you operate. The evidence gear supplies your unshakable why. You need a minimum 100 trade sample, proving positive expectancy under current market conditions, not back-tested fantasies. Forward test results confirming your edge works today. Create an evidence package. One page containing your setup criteria, entry and exit rules, historical win rate, average risk-reward ratios, and risk of ruin calculations. Criteria must be laser-specific. Any competent trader should execute identically. Vague rules like strong momentum invite emotional interpretation. Precise rules like 15-minute consolidation above moving average, volume exceeding 20-day average, risk 1% targeting 2%, eliminate discretionary contamination. This gear provides mathematical conviction that survives emotional storms and drawdown periods. The execution gear delivers your mechanical how. Pre-market routine primes operator identity before chaos begins. If, then rules remove last-second debates. If price triggers entry level, then enter next bar with predetermined size, 0 adjustments. Position sizing caps prevent emotional escalation during streaks. The amount you can lose calmly is the amount you should risk consistently. Stop discipline protocols have 0 wiggle room. Stops placed immediately upon fill, never moved against you, honored without exception, regardless of hope or fear. Environmental design eliminates temptation. Single monitor setup, muted social feeds, hidden profit loss displays, physical separation between analysis desk and execution desk. One watch list, one timeframe stack, alerts replacing chart staring. This gear transforms good intentions into automatic behaviors that survive stress spikes. The evolution gear creates your feedback loop for continuous improvement without emotional contamination. Mirror journaling tracks process metrics over profit metrics. Adherence percentages matter more than daily returns. Score each trade's execution quality, 1 through 5. Label emotions like FOMO or revenge. Write single if-then rules for tomorrow's improvement. Weekly performance audits focus on consistency. Above 80% adherence maintains current sizing. Below triggers 20% reduction and tightened criteria. Monthly plan refinements based purely on objective journal data, never on recent outcomes or emotional reactions. This gear ensures systematic growth while protecting against strategy hopping and over-optimization. When these gears spin in harmony, confidence becomes natural rather than forced. You won't need pep talks because process carries you. You'll stop second-guessing entries because protocols eliminate decision fatigue. You'll stop abandoning systems after small samples because evolution shows long-term improvement trends. 3 metaphors anchor everything. Casino reminds you that edge manifests over infinite trials. You're the house, not the gambler. Mirror demands honest self-reflection about adherence versus outcome obsession. Sniper emphasizes patience for one clean shot over many mediocre attempts. Your daily transformation begins with a 3-sentence morning ritual. I am the risk manager. My plan decides, not my feelings. I execute like a professional operator. Mental models mean nothing without operational protocols. Next chapter installs the exact procedures that make this confidence engine functional: environmental specifications, pre-market checklists, execution rules, and journaling formats that transform theory into profitable practice. Ready to build the machine that manufactures confidence on demand? Time to get surgical. Numbers gave you permission. Protocols give you control. We're installing your confidence operating system, the exact procedures that turn the confidence engine from theory into reflex. This isn't motivation, it's architecture. Your goal is simple: reduce moments where feelings can interfere and increase moments where rules make decisions for you. Environment design eliminates decision fatigue before it starts. Strip your station to a single monitor to reduce cognitive overwhelm and prevent tab hopping during execution. Mute social feeds and chat rooms during trading hours. External noise contaminates internal process. Create physical separation between analysis and execution desks so your body knows which mode it's in. Work from one curated watch list and one timeframe stack that matches your system. Hide your profit-loss display during sessions to prevent outcome bias. The market is your teacher. You're here to follow the lesson plan, not chase grades. Your workspace should feel sterile, not stimulating. Pre-market protocol transforms chaos into clarity through systematic preparation. 10-minute market scan identifying only A+ setups meeting your written criteria. No exceptions, no maybes. Place alerts at trigger levels instead of staring at charts, freeing attention for preparation. Pre-calculate position sizes in R multiples and write them down. Mark stop levels before you even consider entry. If you can't define risk precisely, you have no trade. Calculate and record risk-reward ratios for each candidate so you stop rationalizing once the bell rings. The sniper checklist prevents emotional entries through 4 mandatory questions answered before every order. First, is clear structure present according to your written criteria? Second, is risk precisely defined with exact stop placement? Third, is reward minimum 1.5 R based on logical target levels? Fourth, is there news or event risk within your holding time frame? Unless you answer yes to all 4 questions, stand down immediately. No partial credit, no emotional overrides. 4 out of 4, or you don't fire. Execution rules eliminate improvisation through if-then automation. If price triggers entry level, then enter next bar with predetermined size. 0 adjustments, 0 hesitation. No discretionary position management during trades. Prevents fear-based early exits and hope-based stop widening. Place stop loss in system immediately upon fill. Never moved against you regardless of price action. Impose maximum daily loss cap of 2R, hard stop, platform locked if possible. When you hit it, you're done. No negotiation. Operators preserve capital and attention. Gamblers try to win it back and torch both. Mirror Journal Protocol creates systematic improvement through 90-second post-trade reviews scoring process adherence 1 through 5. Label dominant emotions: FOMO, revenge, overconfidence, fear. Write one if-then rule for tomorrow based on that observation. Weekly scorecard tracks adherence percentage, not profit percentage. Confidence grows when the mirror shows consistency, not when the account shows green. Add the weight filter, a game-changing upgrade discovered at Chicago prop desks. For breakout entries, wait 5 minutes after trigger before executing. This single delay reduced false signals by 18% without missing legitimate moves. The pause allows initial volatility to settle and confirms momentum persistence. Impatient traders hate this rule. Profitable traders embrace it. Make installation practical. Print your checklist and tape it to your monitor. Pre-build order templates with default sizing and stop parameters. Use alerts and timers to enforce pauses. Remove the decision to decide. You're designing an environment where breaking rules requires conscious violation of your own signed protocol. Expect friction the first week. Discipline is a muscle. Fatigue fades with repetition. Keep your 3-sentence ritual visible. I am the risk manager. My plan decides, not my feelings. I execute like a professional operator. Protocols only prove themselves under fire. Tomorrow the market will test the system with CPI whipsaws, chop grids, hot streak traps, and drawdown weeks. Will your protocol hold when noise gets loud? Or will the gambler resurface? Next chapter stress tests everything through real scenarios that separate operators from gamblers. Protocols mean nothing until tested by fire. Your confidence engine looks elegant on paper, but the market specializes in breaking beautiful theories with ugly reality. Today, we run scenario drills that forge unbreakable confidence by stress testing your operating system against the exact conditions that separate operators from gamblers. CPI morning arrives with violent gaps and reversals. Gambler A spent the weekend analyzing scenarios, convinced he knows the direction, loads maximum size before the release because he needs to be right to survive. The number shocks, spreads widen to 20 pips. He gets slipped on entry and exit. Panic floods his system. Revenge trading begins immediately to get even before lunch. By close, he's down 8% with 3 rule violations and 0 lessons learned. Operator B marks levels pre-market, but waits 15 minutes after release for clean structure to emerge. Uses the weight filter, risks 0.5 R with predefined stop, targets logical resistance for 1.5 R reward, takes small loss when structure fails or small win when it holds. 0 drama, 0 emotional residue. One bleeds accounts through emotional interference. The other builds them through mechanical precision. Chop Grinder Day delivers 3 consecutive false breakouts that trigger stops. Gambler feels personally attacked by the market. Widens stops from 20 to 40 pips because he needs to make it back by end of day. Refuses to accept that some days offer no valid opportunities. Each widened stop compounds his desperation until he's risking 5% per trade on marginal setups. Operator logs 3 clean -1R losses, hits his daily -2R cap, stands down to protect mental capital. He recognizes chop patterns from his journal, understands that discipline today prevents blow-up tomorrow. Survival is the ultimate edge. Hot streak trap strikes after 5 winners in a row, triggered dangerous overconfidence. Gambler doubles position size because he's hot and the market owes him more profits. Risk management feels like leaving money on the table when everything works. He starts taking correlated positions, essentially concentrating risk while thinking he's diversifying. Operator maintains consistent sizing, regardless of recent outcomes, takes partial profits per written plan, avoids correlated positions that amplify single direction risk. He knows variance always collects from overconfidence. The market gives back what it gave when you least expect it. Drawdown week brings 7 days of choppy losses that create dangerous psychology. Gambler strategy hops by Wednesday, convinced his system stopped working, abandons his plan by Friday for whatever guru promises quick recovery. He's trading hope instead of edge, emotion instead of expectancy. Operator tightens criteria 20%, reviews journal patterns for environmental changes, reduces size until his process score returns above 80%. He protects capital and confidence until his edge returns, understanding that drawdowns are tuition payments for market education, not personal failures requiring system abandonment. The small account objection surfaces. I need big gains fast to make this worthwhile. Mathematical reality destroys this fantasy. Compounding favors survival over aggression. Risk of ruin calculations show that smaller R multiples with more iterations build wealth faster than large bets with high failure rates. A trader risking 2% per trade survives market conditions that completely destroy a trader, risking 10% with identical strategy. The tortoise compounds systematically while the hare blows up spectacularly. Each scenario proves your protocol's real purpose, protecting you from your worst enemy, which isn't the market, it's yourself. The teacher market repeats these exact tests until you pass consistently. Your equity curve records every grade. Most traders fail the same scenarios repeatedly because they focus on tactics while ignoring the deeper issue driving their behavior. But this reveals the fundamental truth. It's not just about checklists and position sizing. It's about identity transformation. Who are you when the screen goes dark and nobody's watching? Are you still the disciplined operator? Or does the gambler resurface when pressure mounts and rules feel inconvenient? Next chapter addresses the complete reframe that makes all tactics stick permanently. Tactics fail without identity transformation. You can memorize every protocol, but when pressure mounts and your stomach tightens, you'll revert to your default programming unless you've fundamentally rewired who you are. Tools break when the hand holds the wrong identity. This chapter stages the complete reframe from reactive gambler to proactive operator. It's not just changing what you do, it's changing who you are when nobody's watching and the market tests your resolve. Gambler identity operates on scarcity and reaction. Gamblers chase certainty in uncertain environments, paralyzed when probabilities replace guarantees. They need action to feel productive, confusing activity with progress, clicking to relieve boredom rather than express edge. Market outcomes become personal validation or rejection. Wins inflate ego. Losses attack self-worth. Position sizing fluctuates with recent results. Bigger after wins, smaller after losses, exactly backward from optimal risk management. They abandon profitable plans after small sample sizes when variance creates temporary drawdowns. Most destructively, they seek entertainment from trading activity, turning wealth building into expensive recreation. Operator identity functions on abundance and preparation. Operators manage uncertainty through process control, accepting that individual outcomes are unknowable, but statistical edges are reliable. They find productivity and patience in preparation, understanding that doing nothing is strategic action when criteria aren't met. Self-worth stays completely decoupled from market outcomes. They're risk managers executing business plans, not performers seeking applause. Risk remains consistent regardless of recent performance, because position sizing follows mathematical rules, not emotional impulses. They trust statistical edges over gut feelings, treating trading as systematic business operations with inventory management and quality control. Create your commitment contract, a one-page pledge with 3 non-negotiables that define your operator identity. First, stop discipline with no widening, no hoping. No second chances for losing positions. The stop is law, period. Second, daily loss cap at 2R with hard stops, no exceptions, no negotiation when hit. Third, journal completion with every trade scored and reviewed before the next session. Sign it, date it, post it where you'll see it daily. Honor it without compromise. This contract becomes your formal declaration of identity transformation and your anchor when emotions demand flexibility. Environmental identity cues reinforce transformation through physical and behavioral changes. Separate planning workspace from execution workspace, so your body knows which mode it's in. Use timer-enforced breaks, preventing overtrading and emotional decision-making. Replace chart staring with alert systems that free attention for preparation. Implement professional dress code during trading hours. Appearance shapes psychology more than you realize. Language shifts matter profoundly. I manage risk replaces I need a winner. I execute my plan replaces I hope this works. I follow process replaces I feel confident. Language shapes perception, and perception shapes reality. The mirror exercise forces honest self-assessment daily. Stand in front of a mirror, make eye contact with yourself, and recite your 3-sentence ritual aloud. I am the risk manager. My plan decides, not my feelings. I execute like a professional operator. Then determine the position size you can emotionally tolerate losing without affecting your sleep, relationships, or next trade. Your reflection reveals your true risk tolerance, not your theoretical one. If you flinch at the number, size down until your breath stays steady. Weekly board review solidifies identity through conscious pattern recognition. Select 3 trade screenshots: your best execution, your worst impulse, and your cleanest impasse on a marginal setup. Write 3-line lessons for each, focusing on process adherence rather than profit outcomes. Identity transforms through repetitive self-analysis and conscious course correction, making the mirror unavoidable. The ultimate test? When your plan hurts short-term, can you hold long-term vision? When 3 stops trigger consecutively, do you trust your edge or abandon your system? Your answer reveals whether transformation is complete or surface level. Next chapter integrates everything into a weekly operating system that compounds discipline like interest. Consistency compounds like interest when you install a weekly operating system that runs automatically, regardless of motivation levels. This transforms discipline from exhausting willpower into momentum that carries you forward. Your confidence stops being a feeling you chase and becomes a mathematical certainty you build through repetitive excellence. Each completed weekly cycle builds on previous cycles, creating exponential improvement over linear time. Monday becomes planning day, your weekly foundation that prevents reactive decision-making. Review the previous week's journal for pattern recognition. Identify which emotions triggered rule violations, which setups performed optimally, and which environmental factors affected execution quality. Flag upcoming news events and market conditions that might impact your strategy. Mark only A+ setups meeting every written criterion. Resist lowering standards for action. Set your weekly risk budget in R multiples and allocate it across trading days, with Tuesday through Thursday carrying primary load and event days scaled appropriately. Complete 5 minutes of mental rehearsal, visualizing flawless entry and exit execution as if narrating your checklist aloud. Your daily execution cycle operates mechanically, regardless of market conditions. Pre-market routine includes reciting your 3-sentence ritual aloud, conducting focused 10-minute market scan for A+ setups only, and placing alerts at trigger levels to eliminate chart staring. During market hours, apply the sniper checklist to every potential entry without exception. 4 mandatory questions requiring 4 yes answers or immediate stand down. Keep profit-loss displays hidden to prevent outcome bias contamination. Post-market discipline requires completing your 90-second mirror journal. Score process adherence 1 through 5. Label dominant emotions honestly, and write 1 if-then rule for tomorrow's improvement based on today's observation. Wednesday triggers your midweek audit, the circuit breaker preventing small slips from becoming dangerous spirals. Review your process score. Are you maintaining 80% adherence or above? If below threshold, immediately reduce position size 20% and tighten entry criteria until consistency returns. Identify emerging emotional patterns before they compound into systematic problems. Impatience during chop, hesitation after losses, euphoria during streaks. Design one environmental adjustment to counter each pattern. Remove noisy tickers, shrink to single time frame, or extend weight filters around news events. This isn't punishment. It's calibration, protecting capital and confidence. Friday delivers comprehensive weekly review where the teacher market hands you your report card. Calculate expectancy and adherence percentages using journal data. Write them visibly where you cannot ignore them. Screenshot analysis requires selecting 3 trades: best execution even if loss, worst impulse even if profitable, and cleanest pass on marginal setup. Write 3-line lessons for each focusing on process improvement over outcomes. Update your evidence package with new statistical data. Implement maximum one protocol refinement based on objective analysis. More than one change creates confusion. Zero changes prevents evolution. Monthly evolution cycles ensure long-term optimization without system-hopping contamination. Analyze forward test performance against evidence package projections. Recalculate risk of ruin with current parameters and position sizing. Renew your commitment contract based on objective performance data. Validate evidence package with fresh market data confirming edge persistence under current conditions. Integrate core mantras into daily vocabulary until they become background operating code. Protect the downside, upside takes care of itself. Reminds you, survival creates opportunity. One clean shot, many patient passes, reinforces quality over quantity. Process over profits, consistency over perfection, maintains focus on controllable factors. The market is my teacher, my journal is my mirror, positions feedback mechanisms properly. Common objections receive systematic resolution. Small account concerns? Focus relentlessly on process development over profit generation. Skills compound faster than capital when built correctly. Limited time availability? Trade single session with alert systems instead of all-day monitoring. Fear after losing streaks? Implement walk rule and size reduction until confidence rebuilds through small wins and consistent execution. This system transforms confidence from fleeting feeling into mathematical fact. Discipline stops requiring effortful willpower and becomes habitual behavior. But excellence thrives in community, not isolation. The final question remains, who holds you accountable when motivation inevitably fades and discipline wobbles? Excellence thrives in community, not isolation. You can maintain discipline through willpower alone for days, maybe weeks, but eventually the battery drains under market stress. Systems are infinite. Willpower is finite. Even the most disciplined operators need external accountability to maintain standards when internal motivation wavers. The market tests your resolve daily through drawdowns that challenge conviction, hot streaks that trigger overconfidence, and choppy periods that breed impatience. You need allies who reinforce your operator identity when it wobbles, mirror your blind spots, and remind you that confidence flows from protocol adherence, not emotional highs. The accountability imperative is mathematical. Entropy pulls you back toward old habits unless other operators pull you forward. When your three-sentence ritual feels mechanical, when your sniper checklist seems excessive, when your mirror journal feels tedious, that's precisely when community accountability becomes essential. The market grades you daily. Your circle ensures you keep studying instead of abandoning the curriculum after temporary setbacks. Build your operator's circle by assembling 3 to 5 traders genuinely committed to process over profits. Keep it small, serious, and structured. Schedule weekly 30-minute video calls where each member shares 2 journal screenshots and their process adherence score. Best execution and worst impulse, focusing on behavior patterns rather than profit outcomes. Use shared folders for journals and scorecards, creating transparency that prevents self-deception. Everyone signs identical commitment contracts with the same 3 non-negotiables and consequence structure. Violation requires public announcement, 20% size reduction for 10 trades, and updated if-then rule before the next session. Implement monthly hot seat sessions where one member presents their biggest sabotage pattern, supported by screenshots and data. The circle asks surgical questions. Where did protocol break? Which environmental cue failed? What if-then rule will catch it next time? Together, you design measurable accountability plans with 4-week behavior targets. The market grades the plan, the group enforces execution. Launch the 30-day operator challenge to hardwire transformation. Publicly commit to 20 trading days, achieving 80% process adherence within 30 calendar days. Post daily journal screenshots to group chat before session end. Allow maximum one protocol adjustment during the entire period. More changes create confusion. Zero changes prevent evolution. Success measures consistency, not profitability. Completion earns official operator status and ongoing community access. Failure provides data for the next attempt with reduced position sizing. Protect community culture through strict standards. No profit loss bragging, process metrics only. No strategy sharing. Execution improvement stays the focus. No prediction games. Analyze what happened, not what might happen. Support members through tough periods and celebrate discipline milestones. Closing platforms at -2R. Passing marginal setups. Completing journal streaks. Recognition reinforces behaviors that compound into lasting habits. This isn't your trading journey's end. It's your operator career's beginning. You've resolved the confidence paradox, understanding that belief flows from protocol, not feeling. You've debunked myths keeping traders stuck, absorbed mathematical proof showing why plans pay, and installed the 3-gear confidence engine. You have exact protocols battle-tested through scenarios, complete identity transformation, and a weekly operating system that compounds discipline automatically. Community accountability prevents backsliding when motivation inevitably fades. Tomorrow at the open, the ultimate test returns. Will you respond as the old gambler, seeking excitement and validation? Or as the new operator executing mechanically regardless of recent outcomes? Your 3-sentence ritual awaits activation. Your sniper checklist stands ready. Your mirror journal is prepared for honest assessment. The casino never closes, but you've switched sides permanently. You're no longer the customer hoping for lucky breaks. You're the house with mathematical edge, infinite patience, and mechanical execution. The gambler trades emotions. The operator manages risk. Join the Operators Alliance by commenting your single biggest sabotage pattern and the specific if-then rule that will catch it tomorrow. Subscribe for advanced operator protocols and live trade breakdowns. The market pays process. Let's build operators together.